Good morning and welcome to the kitchen this Saturday morning. And we're here for a Saturday morning in the kitchen. And I hope that all of you are ready to do a little bit of cooking and a little bit of chatting. And we're just going to have a good time. Now, we've been working on living our best life. And because on Mondays at lunchtime, we've been talking about trying to keep our heart healthy, trying to keep our bodies healthy, all those good things. So because of that, today is going to be devoted to healthy meals. And most of those meals are going to be those meals that have been given to me personally by the American Heart Association. And on Monday, Michelle's coming. Oh, yeah, she's coming. And she's going to be bringing us, hey, Ronnie, she's going to be bringing us all kinds of fun information. Hey, Emma. And we're going to find out all of those good things and talk a lot about our hearts. Because after all, now, I kind of use it both ways. Hey, Patricia, we need to have a heart when we're dealing with others, but we also need to keep this heart in here ticking. So today we're going to, as you can see, I've got stuff everywhere. And I may be moving you around because I need to adjust just a little bit to make sure that you can see what we're doing. So we're starting with those things that are going to require more cooking time. Now, let me tell you, I think I already told you on the announcement what we were doing, but I'm going to bring you in closer and kind of get you set up and make sure that we can see and talk to each other. Yeah, we're ready to go. Now, I have right here some turkey bacon because one of the recipes that we're going to be using today is a turkey bacon and spinach quiche. Now, the cool thing is that we're not going to use a regular pie crust. We're going to be making a sweet potato crust. And we're going to be doing it in such a way that we're going to eliminate the flour because, some of us are trying to get away from flour, trying to get away from some of the sugar. So we're going to be taking a look at that. Now, I can't promise you that everything is going to be perfect. And, I always have to put my spin on a few things. So because of that, we're going to try to get started with this. Now, I am going over here on the induction cooktop. I've got some turkey bacon that I've got going. And I'm going to turn that up so we can really get that cooked up and ready to go. We have one sweet potato. So we're going to get that crust ready because the crust is going to be what really needs. I don't think I want to go that hard. But I've got my dish, my pie dish. It's already been sprayed with Pam. Or you can use whatever cooking spray that you like. But that's what we're going to use this morning because that's what I have. Now, the one thing in all of this that I forgot to get was my wooden spoon. Oh, who does that? All right, let's get that. All right, wooden spoon ready. So we've got the turkey bacon going, and I'm actually cooking a little extra turkey bacon so that just in case we need to have turkey bacon later on for something or for breakfast, it's already prepared. So I'm in the process of just cooking some up. I took half the pack, and it's uncured turkey bacon. Now, I have all of these recipes. Once this deploys officially onto YouTube, all of these recipes will be visible for you to be able to click on the link and go to them. Because I'm telling you, they really are easy recipes, something you can do in advance or do in an evening and have it ready to go. Now, so what I did, I grated a sweet potato. And this is the first time I've tried making a crust with sweet potato. And the sweet potatoes that I got, I wasn't sure about size or any of that. So we're going to play around with that. So I'll tell you about how much we're going to use. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this and we're going to push the sweet potato around in this dish. We're going to get it going. And I think I'm going to add just a little more. I actually grated about 4 cups of sweet potato, which is about a sweet potato and a half. And they weren't very large, so I'm okay with that. All right, so sweet potatoes covering pretty well, covering the bottom. I'll put just a tiny bit more on the bottom, just to make sure we have a good cover. All right, so what's over here? I can throw in some soup later on, but not today. All right, so we've got our crust. Now, I'm going to put this crust in the directions say, and the oven's already preheated, 400. It says that we've taken our cups, which are supposed to have at least 2 cups of sweet potato. We have our 9-inch pan, and we pressed it into the bottom. And now we're going to let that cook for about 20 minutes. And while that's cooking, we're going to be cooking up some other things. We've got to get the bacon ready. I've got the spinach pretty well ready. And we've got a few more little bits of things. So I'm going to leave this here, let it cook a little while longer. But this is going in the 400-degree oven for 20 minutes. All right, now I have a gas oven, so I'm going to check it at 15 minutes because my gas oven has a tendency to cook a little faster than the electric oven, and so for that reason, we're going to just keep a check on that. So I'll check it in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But I'd set the timer for 15. And then if we need 5 more minutes, we can do that. Now, in this quiche, like I said, you're using frozen spinach. So I have the spinach. I put it in a container so it can drain. And what we're going to do is that I'm going to get a towel, and I'm going to put the spinach in this towel. And the reason for doing that is because, as you know, we want to get as much water out of that spinach as we possibly can. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take it over to the sink, and I'm going to give it a major squeeze because it is soft. And I want to get as much of that liquid out as I possibly can. Okay, so we've got most of the spinach taken care of. Now I'm going to use the bowl that I have the sweet potato in, and I'm just going to kind of give it a little wipe with this paper towel because whatever little leavings of sweet potato, we don't need those at this point. And I need some eggs. I put 2 eggs. That's what the recipe calls it. 2 eggs. I pulled out a couple extra because these weren't large eggs. Remember last week I told you when I went to the grocery, they only had medium. And I don't usually buy medium. So I may look at the consistency of this and decide that we need to actually kick it up a notch. Now I'm going to let this turkey baby continue to cook. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put just a dash of olive oil in the center. I'm an olive oil girl, like that. And what we're going to do is that we're going to add the onions. We need some onions. Where are my onions? I know they're here. There they are. We're going to add some onions. Because, you know, most dishes taste good with a little onion. And I'm not going to add a lot because turkey bacon is a little delicate in flavor. You can see I'm probably adding about a half of an onion in. And that's just to give it a little extra taste. So I've got my 2 eggs. We also need some egg whites. And I did those. I didn't want them to stay out in the open. So I'm going to need to pull those out of the refrigerator. Okay, I've got my egg whites. They're here. Put that over in the sink. And I'm going to take a fork. Give this a little stir. And it's okay if the onions kind of get on the bacon, because we want that bacon to be just a little bit crispy, and we want the onions to be pretty translucent. Now you notice I haven't put any seasoning in yet. So I'm going to take my fork and I'm going to beat up these eggs. Give them a really good beat so they'll be ready when it's time to put this into the pie shell. Okay, so we had 2 whole eggs and 4 egg whites. Now, you know, I'm thinking you probably, if you have it, you could use the liquid egg whites and just measure out enough equal to 4 eggs. But I'm using the actual eggs. And then I would use the yellows later on or something else. Now, I think the purpose, to me, I'm thinking the purpose of using the egg whites is to cut back on the calories and also cut back on the cholesterol. So we've got our bacon. Our bacon's looking good. Our onions are looking good. And I'm going to put all of this into a bowl. Because, you know, we've got to let the turn this off for a second so we can hear. Okay, we got all of that done. Now, I'm not going to put this away. I'm just going to sit this here for now, and so that we can work and do what we need to do. Now, for just a moment, these need to cool. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take my kitchen shears, and I'm going to start chopping it up just a little bit right here in the bowl. I'm just going to do a little chop, chop, chop. And we want them small, but we want nice size pieces. We don't want it to be so minute that we don't know what it is that we have in our quiche. So I'm just giving those some little rough chops. And I use my shears all the time for these kind of things. Now, you all will be so proud of me. And one of these recipes, it requires chicken. Well, this time I made sure I had that chicken where it's supposed to be. Those of you who were here last week, you know that the chicken, somehow or another, that I thought I had taken out of the refrigerator, ended up back in the freezer. And because I had rotisserie chicken, and I thought, okay, I've got the chicken ready, and I'll put it in the refrigerator for Saturday morning. Well, guess what? When the time came, for those of you who weren't here, we couldn't find it. Couldn't find that chicken anywhere. And I even had to go out to my garage freezer in order to find that chicken. That chicken got lost. And I don't know how that chicken walked out there in the garage. I have a feeling that someone else took that chicken out just to make room. And because they do that every now and then. Okay, so we've got all the bacon right here. Onions right here. Now, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put the shears in there because I may need them later. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take the spinach and I am going to place it right here in the bowl. Let's get it in there because you know how it is with, and I'm going to take this and move it out the way. All right. Now, I'm going to use this fork, and I'm breaking the spinach, kind of mixing the spinach and the bacon up so that it will have a good mix. You don't want to get a mouth of just spinach, and you definitely don't want a mouth of, well, you may want a mouth of just bacon, but anyway, we're working through that. So we got bacon, we got onions in here, and let's see, what else do we need in here? Oh, we need some seasoning, guys. So I'm going to pull out my house seasoning. Now, obviously, the recipe is not going to call for the house seasoning, but it's going to tell you the exact measurements of pepper. And I noticed that in these recipes, the amount of salt is very light. And that's a good thing, because we all need to cut back on our salt. Now, when I made this homemade mix, and if you look back in a couple of videos back, we made this homemade mix together. And you'll know that this mix has very little salt in it. I put just a little because I don't want it totally without salt, but I did want to make sure that it was good, and we need a little salt. Just a little, not a lot. So I'm continuing to stir this. Now, you'll notice that I haven't put the eggs in. The reason for that is because I'm trying to give this spinach a chance. It's pretty chilly. I'm trying to give the spinach a chance to cool the bacon off. And then I'll put the rest in. Now, we need 1/4 cup of milk. I've got my 1/4 measure. I'm going to add that in to the eggs. Okay, we've got our milk in, and I'm going to come over here and continue to give that a little whisk, a little beat. And I'm feeling this, it feels cool enough that I can go ahead and put the eggs right there. All right, so the bowl is out of the way, and oh, that's going to look good. I don't know if you can see, but we got everything nice and mixed. We got our seasonings in, and what we can do at the end of this, what they suggest, is to sprinkle some feta cheese on top of it before you serve it. Now, guys, if you weren't here, I probably wouldn't bake this yet, because I would do it just before dinner time. And but because you're here, we're going to bake it today. Now, we just have to wait on our crust to get ready. Now, while we're waiting, so all we have to do is pour this onto our sweet potato crust. That part is ready. All right, we've got some other things we need to do. This salmon salad that we're going to put together. Let's do that. And that's going to be the next thing. So let me put the top on this. And I'm going to come over for a few minutes so I can see who's here and say good morning to everyone. And then we'll get back to the salad. So let me see who's here. Who have I got? I know Ronnie and Emma were here. Hey, Denise, I see Emma's here. Centric is here. And got Kim. Great. Wonderful. Deb is here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Love a Petite. Luvia Petite, good morning from Maryland. Maria is here. Good morning. Good morning. Misha, good morning. Kim, Karen, oh wow, Louise, everybody's up and early this morning. It's just so good to see all of you. We're going to have a good time. We're doing things that are recipes, 3 recipes that are heart healthy. And I tell you what, they can be heart healthy and still have a delicious flavor. So that's what we're going to be working on, is making sure that these heart healthy recipes are wonderful, but we're going to make sure that they're delicious. So hold on a second. Let me get back over there so that we can do what we like to do. All right, let me get my bowl. And because you all are here, I'm using my fancy bowl this morning, making sure this is going to be nice and pretty. This salad is going to come together so fast. Most of the work, to be honest with you, for this salad is in the dressing. And I think what we'll do first is to put the dressing together. Now, we're going to be putting together an apricot ginger vinaigrette. An apricot ginger vinaigrette. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to put together, I've got apricot, and I'm using Smuckers here, and I need about a 1/4 cup. And I'm going to do rough measurements because, you know, that's what I do. I don't have time to try to measure out everything. But we're going to put in, I can pretty much eyeball. That's going to be about a heaping. Here's our apricot. We've got our apricot in there. And I think you can see that right here. So we've got our apricot in there. That's our apricot spread. We also needed some orange juice. And instead of using the bottled stuff, we're going to have real orange juice. And you need about a 1/4 cup. So I'm guessing that that's going to be about the juice, at least, of 1 whole orange. And these oranges weren't gigantic. So because of that, we're going to use all of this. And I think that's just going to make it even more delicious using fresh orange juice that you freshly squeezed. Plus, it sounds good when you're telling everybody, oh, I made this and I fresh squeezed my orange juice. Well, that's going to be great. All right, you heard the timer. Let's go check. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give it that extra 5 minutes. And whoops, let me turn that off so we don't have to hear that. Okay, 5 minutes. That's all that needs. All right, we got our orange juice in. We need some white wine vinegar. So I'm going to put in the white wine vinegar. How are you all doing today? I hope you are not snowed under. I know quite a few people are. They have had some rough weather this week. And we got rain, but we were blessed in that we missed the snow portion. And of course, this top was not going to come off. So let's see what I can do. Get my dish ready. It does not want to come off. Okay. I have this device for bottles. You all have one of these where you can put it around the top of your bottle that you're trying to open. You sit it down, put it on your bottle, it fits, and then you kind of squeeze a little bit and you give it a turn. Ta-da! How about that? This is the coolest thing ever. This is one of those things that the big guy got. The big guy's so funny in that, you know, he wants to be a part of whatever's going on. But at the same time, he's thinking, what kind of toy can I give you so that you don't bother me? So anyway, we have our white wine vinegar. We're going to be putting in two tablespoons of white wine vinegar. All right, that's in there. Now, it calls for a teaspoon of sugar. And if you have honey, you can certainly use honey. And you know what? I'm looking. I think the big guy has used up my honey. Used up my honey. How about that? Let me grab the sugar. All right. So, I've got the sugar, since he took care of that. So we're going to put in 1 teaspoon. And you know, I only use Splenda. If you have Swerve, and you want to try Swerve, you can do that. You can try some of the other sweeteners. That may be what you use. But I'm trying to get myself away from using those because I have a tendency to use the artificial stuff for coffee and just to get away from the sugar. But I think health-wise, it really is better if you're going to sweeten it, and leave the artificial stuff out of your body. All right, so we've got the sugar. Ginger. We need ginger. And we're going to put in 2 teaspoons of ginger. 2 teaspoons. So I'm just going to kind of measure out 2 teaspoons here of ginger. Okay. Because after all, it's an apricot ginger vinaigrette. All right. And it says to have a pinch, which is about 1/8 of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. So I'm just putting in a pinch. Now, it's optional on the red pepper flakes, but that's what the recipe called for. So I have to assume there's a reason for that. It also called for 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and that's to keep us true in that we won't overdo the salt. Now, we're going to, you could certainly blend this. I didn't pull the blender out this morning, and I think I'm going to use a fork and just beat this. You could even put this into a jar and just give it a shaky shake, but we're going to whip this up, get everything well whisked. Now, you know, on a Saturday morning, how many of you still have grocery shopping and planning? Some of you may be cleaning because you've been busy all week with things that are going on. And if that's the case, oh my God, you all smell so good. Okay, we got the dressing all done. Wow, it smells delicious. Let me give it a little taste. Check it out. Oh, it is good. It is really good. So I'm going to say to you, when you make this, double it. And because you're probably going to want to use it more than once, because this really is very good. Now, so dressing made. Let me check the sweet potatoes. Oh, yeah. Now, to be honest with you, I wasn't sure exactly what to expect. You know, what the crust was going to look like. And I'm looking at it thinking, okay, but it's basically sweet potatoes. And I'm going to take my spoon and just give them a little mash. Just a little mash, but they did get toasty. They're very toasty, which is nice. Can you see? Okay, good. Now, we have mixed our quiche. All that's done. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to pour it right into our crust and spread it around. It's very colorful. Now, make sure I get everything out of there. All of our eggs, everything. Our bacon, the works. Oh, I think the big guy's going to like this. It was so funny back in the day when, you know, quiche became the thing. The big guy really believed that, you know, real guys didn't eat quiche. You know, they don't eat that. That's a girl's thing. You know, that's something you have at a party. And that is certainly not the case. All right, we got everything into our shell. we're going to dot this with a little bit of feta cheese, and then we're going to put it into the oven and until the eggs are set. Okay? Here we need the feta. There it is. You know, some things have to stay pretty chilly. So I'm taking out the feta. I love feta. I love feta on salads. And we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of feta. And how much you sprinkle on top is really up to you. Feta is going to add a little bit of salt to it. So we're going to see what it's going to do. So we've got feta on top of our quiche and ready to go. So I am just making sure everybody has a little bit of feta. And so that when we cut into this, it's going to be pretty. So here's our quiche. We're going to put it into the oven. And I'm going to turn this oven. It says to cook between 35 and 40 minutes. I'm going to cook it and see what it does at about 35. I think we've got just about time to be able to get that in and out. So, close it up, turn on the timer, and start our timer. So I'm hoping that we will be able to pull that from the oven before we go today. All right, let me wipe things off real quick so that we're clean. And then we're going to finish up putting the salad together because, you know, these kind of salads are those things that you can fix in advance. You can have it for lunch, but it would certainly make a great dinner. And if you wanted to have some crusty bread on the side that you toasted with olive oil and the Italian herb seasoning sprinkled over it, or just some garlic, it would be so good. Now, so feta, check. All right, so we've got our salad bowl, and we are going to add into this salad bowl the spring greens. Now, separates the spring greens and the spinach, and I found a mix of both, so that's what I'm going to be using. It is called a Spinach Spring mix, so it already has the spinach in it, and it's already pre-washed. So we're going to put that in, and I'm thinking I'm going to try to get 2 really nice sized salads out of this. So I'm going to use about half of this container, and that leaves me enough for that second salad and that we can put together later. All right, now the only thing I'm going to kick up with this, you know, you've been on my channel anytime, you know, I love tomatoes, and the big guy loves onions. So we've got our spring greens, and we need some onion to go on that. We've got all our red cabbage. Where did he go? We need to find that red cabbage. All right, there he is. So we have a red cabbage, and I'm going to bring all of this over so that you can see it, I can see, everybody can see. I'm going to take the knives off, so if anything falls, we will, it won't be the knife. All right, I'm bringing it all over to us over here. Okay, let's take off a little bit of red cabbage, because obviously I think I'm going to probably fix this again. So I'm just going to take a slice off of this red cabbage, and I'm going to set the rest over there. And I'm going to take off its outer leaves, I'm going to give it a quick rinse, and we'll be ready to start chopping. Okay, get a paper towel. So he won't make too much of a mess. I hope you guys are enjoying the Saturday morning in the kitchen. I certainly am. We have such a good time. Now what I'm doing is that I'm going to cut these into, let me see if I can pull it out all together, into little thin pieces that we're going to put and sprinkle over our salad. Now, if you find they're just a little too long, I don't think I'm going to need all of this. Just enough, because we're adding color to our salad. Let's see if I can get this where you can see it. Okay, here's our salad. So I just took maybe about 1/4 of that little slice, and I'm taking and I'm breaking it up and sprinkling it over the salad. So we've got that there. Now, I'm also, and this is how much of that slice I still have left. So the red cabbage is going to go a long way. Now, you might opt to use your red cabbage for something else this week. You know, since it's here, you might as well use it. Find good things to do with it. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of red onion. And that's the one thing it really did not call for, was red onion. But I know in this house, there must be some onion. And so I'm going to add a little bit of red onion. Now, let me tell you why I'm using red onion rather than a yellow sweet onion or white onion. That's because the red onion has more antioxidants. Anytime you find vegetables that have lots of color, those are going to be the ones you want to go to. So we've got our onions, and I'm going to save some of this because we're going to need a little bit of this for our potatoes. Just a little. I don't need any cabbage left. Okay, little pieces, got little onion. Now while I'm here and I'm cutting, I'm going to go ahead and cut our spring onions. And I'm just going to slice them very small, put them off to the side, because we're going to want to sprinkle the spring onions on our potato when we do the potatoes. And if you're wondering about potatoes, you know, how's she going to get those potatoes done? The potatoes themselves have already been baked. So I can put that together pretty quickly. All right, so we're cutting the green onions. We're using some of the green as well as the white. So we have a variety because, you know, it's all about the color. All right, so we've got that part taken care of. We also want I want some tomatoes. And I picked up a little container of some cherry tomatoes that I thought would be really good. I rinsed them, and I just leave them in there. So I'm going to pick up a handful of those. And what I'm going to do is to actually, now you don't have to cut them in half. That part's up to you. But I'm going to cut mine in half. Number one, I think they look awfully pretty when they're open. And number two, I just like the flavor, to let that tomato flavor get into it. So we're going to slice those, have them pretty as well as tasty. And now we'll drizzle on the dressing. We won't drizzle the dressing on the whole salad. We will drizzle the dressing over each individual salad. So we're going to have to put an individual salad together. So that'll get us started with our tomatoes. And of course, if you want to do it quick, you can just take your tomatoes, since these are little grape tomatoes, and you could just throw them in. And you could certainly do that, but I like when they're sliced in half. Okay, so there we go. We got those going. Ta-da! So that is a beautiful colorful salad that we're going to be working on. Now, ta-da, got that. All right, if you want more tomatoes, then certainly you can add more, but that's not a part of the mixture. The one thing that you're also going to use, and you know, this is chicken of the sea. It's so funny. It's chicken of the sea, wild caught pink salmon. And I've never used these little packets before. So this is going to be a first for me to use the packets. And for just a moment, I'm going to take this over. I'm going to get it out of the way. I'm going to take out a plate, and we are going to put a little salad together. So let's do that so that we'll have that all ready to go. I've got my salad pans ready, and I'm going to just get a little bit of salad and put it on my plate. Now, of course, if you wanted something else added to the salad that maybe was very, very light in calories, you could certainly do that. All right, so we've got our salad on our plate. I'm going to drizzle just a teeny tiny bit of the dressing. This is our fork that we mixed with, and I'm just going to take a little and just kind of drizzle it over the first part, because now this says it's one serving, and I don't know about you, but I'm not sure that I will need all of this because I haven't seen it before to know what it's going to look like. Oh, now, so what you'll do is that you will, I'm going to take my fork and just break off a little bit of salmon, just enough for lunch. And there's actually plenty of salmon. So, you know, if it's you and hubby, this is probably enough to be able to do that. Now, once you get that salmon kind of broken up, then you'll want to go back, pick up a tablespoon, and just drizzle a little bit of your dressing onto your salad. Okay, so is that not pretty? Ah, it's so pretty. So I'm going to taste a little bit. Oh, wow, guys. This was good. You don't even know you cut back on the calories. Delicious. All right, I'm gonna set this off on the side because I'll probably finish it up with the big guy later on. So, our spring greens with salmon and an apricot ginger vinaigrette. Voila, that's delicious. Now let me show you. I've already added to my February list of recipes for our 1 month, one plan. And the reason for this, because now I know that when March comes, I'm going to carry these over to March. So I've added these on. Now, the one thing that we haven't had time to do, and we haven't stopped long enough to work on, is the portion that deals with that rustic stuffed potato. So let's see if we can get to that. And how are we doing? Let me check. Oh, it looks good. It's going to be nice. All right, potatoes are ready. So the only thing we really need to do, I need just a drizzle of oil. Turn it on. Get my power going. All right, so in my skillet, I'm going to add in a little bit of onion. I'm taking a little bit of leniency with this because I didn't really want it calls for a tablespoon plus a teaspoon of light tub margarine. I didn't really want that, so I'm using olive oil in place. And I am putting in here a little bit of onion because we like onion. Now, I'll keep some here that I will cook with the chicken. And that's what we're going to be putting in. We're going to put in the chicken. And for me, I need enough chicken for 2 baked potatoes. So that's probably enough. That's about 2 cups of chicken. We're going to need some 2 to 3 teaspoons of cider vinegar. So I'm going to use the cap. There's 1. And there's 2 caps of the cider vinegar. And this is going to come together very, very, very quick. This is sugar-free barbecue sauce that is going to go in here. Now, like I said, if you prefer not using sugar-free, I'm using Sweet Baby Ray's sugar-free. Use the real stuff. It's okay. Now, I've got my wooden spoon. I'm going to turn that power up and let all of this come together. It says we also need a little bit. We could use cayenne. We could actually use a little red pepper flakes. And I'm going to use just a touch, because you know, if you are a Sweet Baby Ray person, you know, Sweet Baby Ray's got a little kick to it anyway. So there's our touch of red pepper flakes. We also need a little touch of our seasoning because we need to make sure that what we're eating, I've got about a half a teaspoon of seasoning. It's got a little garlic, little onion powder, all those good things are on there. And we're really just warming this chicken up and letting it come together with the barbecue sauce. I'm cutting it up just a little bit so it will cook a little faster. And like I said, the potatoes are ready. And this would be a great meal to put together, have everything ready to go. And what I would do is when I do this the next time, I'm going to have my potatoes ready. And I'm actually going to put the things in the potato, wrap it up with foil so that I can put it in the refrigerator, kind of pre-do them, and then run them into the oven just to warm up. So we've got our chicken's getting hot. I don't know if you can hear it sizzling, but while that's sizzling, I'm going to move a few things. And I'm going to bring over one of the potatoes. And let me get another saucer. I dropped something. We're going to need 2 plates for this. Because with this particular recipe, you're going to cut your baked potato, and it's already been baked. You're going to cut it in half. You got it in half. And you could do the cooking of it. You could certainly do that. Now I'm going to fluff the inside. Now it's not going to fluff as well as I'd like for it to because they've been sitting a few minutes and they got just a little bit cold, but that's okay because I'm going to heat them up. Okay, so our potatoes are ready. Going over here to this one. Because you know the big guy's smelling all this. So when we finish, he's usually ready for lunch. Okay. Now you could even just take this and run it in the microwave for a minute or two, just to make sure everything is nice and hot. Now this is your topping that is going to go on your potatoes. So I'm going to give them a little squish so that I have plenty of space. And I'm going to come back over and scoop this off just a little bit. I'm going to come back over and I'm going to get a scoop of our chicken mixture. I'm not sure how much it will take, and certainly how much you put on your potato is up to you. So we've got our chicken on our potato, one potato. Let's do two potatoes. This should be enough for two. And of course, if you have more than two, then you will want to, basically you're about a cup of chicken per person. About a cup of chicken per person. So I'm going to finish this off so that the big guy will have his nice hot potato ready to go. Okay, guys. Ooh, that looks good. It looks good. Okay. Now, so that's going to go over there. I'm going to kind of scoop things back up on the potato where they should be. Now, at this point, this is where we get to add all of the extras. And this is where you probably want to be a little careful, because you don't want to add an excessive amount of extras to your potato, because potatoes are a little high in calories. So I'm going to take a pinch of cheddar cheese on top of each. Now, when they come out, I'm going to run them in the microwave for about 1 minute or so. And just to get the cheese melty. And then we're going to give it a taste. All right, 1 minute. And while we're over here, peeking in our quiche. Looks good, looks good. Okay. Let's give that 1 minute. All right, so we did our salad with our apricot vinaigrette. We put together the quiche, and let me check it to see if it's ready. It's looking pretty. I want everything to be set. Our potatoes are getting finished. And so at this point, it's just going to be a matter of bringing everything all together, and we're going to be ready to go. Now, our apricot vinaigrette, you can put into a jar or into some type of container that you may have in your kitchen, so you can come back and use it later. So I have a little jar. I'm hoping it will fit into my jar. I'm going to do this over the sink. Just perfect. It fit into my little half-pint jar. That works out great. I'll put the top on that. And I have extra dressing for more salad. Okay, potatoes coming out. I think it needs 1 more minute. I'm looking at that. Let's give it 1 more. Okay, because I do want to make sure it's good and hot. Now, like I said, I have not warmed up the big guys, but we're going to have a taste. Now, let me come over there and talk to you all. And I need to check our, what do I do my top? I need to check our quiche. It looks like it might be set. Let me find a place for it. Oops. Hit my towel. Oh yeah, the quiche is set. It didn't need the full, because I have a gas oven, it did not need the full 25, oops, here we go, 25, 30 minutes. I knew I had everything put in place. So I guess we better, let me check it. Oh yeah, it comes out clean. Whew. It is very, very, very hot. Okay, it smells good. Really does smell good. Let me get a spatula. I'm not sure which one is going to work the best, but we're going to try this one. Oh yeah, that was it. It's going to take 2 minutes to get our nice melty potato ready. And you know what I'm going to sprinkle it with? It needs a little bit of those green onions right on top. Green onion on our plate. So we have a nice melty potato. Cool. I'm so excited. This is so much fun. Now let's see if I can get this piece out, because you know we haven't tried a sweet potato crust before, and it didn't have any, it's just straight sweet potato. So I have no idea of how nicely it will come out. Look, can you see that? It's lifting out just perfectly. Oh my goodness, guys. That could not have come out prettier. How about that? That's the first slice. Woo! I love it. I'm going to cut this oven off before I forget. As the big guy says, I always forget. And I'm coming over there so I can talk to you and see who's here. All right. Well, guys, we have certainly had a lot of cooking, done a lot of cooking, and you know what I'm looking for now, the glasses, because I need to be able to see. All right, all right. Ah, you're feeling hungry now? Got Emma. She said she's feeling hungry. Oh, Kim, I'm so glad everything looks delicious. Thank you. Denise said she'll have to see what she's making for lunch today. A quiche just might be on the menu. You know, I love quiche. I love it. Even though the big guy kind of goes, okay, but I love it. Elizabeth. Oh, Elizabeth, I hear you. She said she's going to have to watch the replay for the quiche because she missed it. And it really is delicious. And it looks beautiful. And you know, I'm going to take pictures. You know, I am really amazed at how well the sweet potato held together. See how nicely? Just a very light crust. Light crust, no flour. That's a good thing. That gets us away from that. And we're going to talk about some more things, and we're going to be trying to add some different things to our repertoire on our menus. Patricia said that she's never had turkey bacon. Well, turkey bacon, no, it really, I don't think it is similar to pork bacon in that it's much lighter. It is a little salty. It doesn't crisp up like a regular bacon that you would get, say, from Smithfield or wherever, but it will cook well. And, you know, to be able to get away from all of the greasiness of a regular piece of bacon that you would, your pork bacon that you would normally buy, certainly turkey bacon is an option. Now, this happened to be what's called uncured, and you can get the cured bacon as well, but you know, it's let's see. Denise is saying, put the pictures of this. Yes, yes, I will, Denise. I'll put the pictures up on the community page when we finish so you can see all of them, because they really did come out well. And as you can see, we got all of it done in 1 hour. Now, that is a lot of fun. Now, ladies, I know that your Saturdays are busy, and you know, I certainly appreciate your being right here in the kitchen with me, because that's where it's fun. We get to do all kinds of things, and I've got some things planned that are going to be special for next week that's also heart friendly, and we may have a little bit of company in the kitchen next week. We'll get through that, and we'll talk about that during the week. But there's a possibility we may have some company in the kitchen. And in fact, for a couple of Saturdays, we'll have different people in the kitchen. But I have a friend who's going to be coming who is so good at putting together salads and meals that are light, that are nutritious. And certainly we're going to, I've invited her into the kitchen to come and to do some prep work with me, and we prepare it together. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, I wish all of you could be right here in the kitchen, because I can hear the laughter now. We would have such a good time. So I'm not going to hold you one more extra minute, because, you know, I promise 1 hour. So I want to be able to stick to that. And I'm already 2 minutes over, but no, I love you and I'm having such a good time. So, but I know that your time, and especially on Saturday, is so valuable. And Kim is saying that, Patricia, I'm sorry, I stopped in mid-sentence. Patricia is going to try the turkey bacon. Certainly, try it. And I think this was by a name brand. I do not use turkey bacon that's an off-brand. I try to buy a brand that I'm familiar with, and I think this was actually by Butterball. And it is really good, and it cooked delicious. You know, it did a great job. Also, I'm looking, there was one more. These, Kim, you're absolutely right. We want dishes that aren't real time consuming during the week. And so these dishes, including, actually, you could fix the quiche, cover it, put it in your refrigerator, and when you come in from work, or when you finish up work, for those who are working from home, you can put it right into your oven. Just keep your timer on, because remember, we're dealing with sweet potatoes. And your oven may certainly need more time or less time than mine, because every oven's different. So I thank each of you for being right here in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, where, you know, we work hard, we love God, and you know, we're trying to build our strong families right here, one meal at a time around our table. So God bless each of you. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope to see you on Monday and for lunchtime, so that we can finish up the conversation and start some new ones. So to all of you, and I'll see you Monday at 12:30. Take care. Bye-bye.